Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
This is Steiny.
How you fellas doing?
We did an episode many months ago where I talked about the Juice having problems with her teeth, and she had to have a molar pulled.
Oh, yeah.
Her back molar on the left side bottom. Well, there was another tooth on the other side that was an issue that needed a root canal.
Full-on root canals.
And this episode is about all the bullshit I went through for that.
Oh. That's a tough age to be getting root canals.
So I had never heard the term endodontist before, but that's who does root canals, an endodontist.
Yeah.
So there's a place over by Mercy Hospital that I was referred to, and I set up an appointment. And on the phone with the lady, she said, "Okay, do you know where we are?" I'm like, "I think I do. You're in that building across the street from Mercy Hospital." The Mercy Medical Professional Building is what it's called, I believe.
Yep.
And she's like, "Yep, we're just right across the street."
I know exactly which place you were talking about. They have an acronym, a 4-letter acronym they like to go by. I'm not going to say it like that, but yeah.
Something. So I set this up. I made this appointment for her to have an exam because she has to have an exam to see if they do need the root canal.
They always will need the root canal.
Yeah, definitely.
Just saying.
So day of, I had taken a half day of work. I went to go pick her up from school. We went to go to the appointment. We arrived 5 minutes early. I was pretty jazzed. We walked into the Mercy Medical Professional Building. I looked all over that goddamn building on the signage, and I'm like, maybe we're in the wrong building.
Uh-oh.
Because there's another building that is also across the street from Mercy on the other side that used to be the Women's Clinic building.
Ah, yes, I know that one as well. Yep. It was on the second floor.
So what we did is we get back in the car, we cross the street, we pull into the parking lot, we go there, and we're on the first floor. I can't figure anything out. I'm looking at the signage. I'm like, this is really fucking confusing. So I had to wait 5 fucking minutes for some other guy that had no idea what he was doing at this desk on the first floor in what I thought was the appropriate department. I'm like, well, you know, we made it. We're good. And holy fucking shit, he gets done talking. I asked, like, oh no, I believe that's on the third floor. So now we're 5 minutes late.
Okay.
My anxiety's starting to tick up some.
Yep.
We go to the third floor. There's a child crying and speaking Russian. They're trying to calm the child, and I say to somebody, nobody does root canals or anything in here, do they? On the third floor. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. Second floor? They're like, yeah, try downstairs. I go to get in the elevator, and we just missed the elevator. It's an old elevator, and I don't know where the stairs are, so I had to wait.
Yep.
So now we're 10 minutes late by the time I get down to the second floor. And I, again, am met with an instance where there's a desk, and I have to wait for somebody because there's only one person working the fucking desk. And we're sitting there, and she's like, Dad, what's wrong? I'm like, do you understand we're 10 fucking minutes late, and I'm already freaking the fuck out, and this motherfucker will not shut the fuck up. I'm trying to keep my shit together right now. And then the person that was at the desk hobbles away on their crutches, and I give them my daughter's name, date of birth. They're like, I don't see anything. Like, she's having a cleaning? I'm like, no, she's here for a pre-root canal exam. They're like, we don't do that here. I'm like, oh, for Christ's sakes. I'm like, it's supposed to be an endodontist building. It's supposed to be across the street from Mercy. Where am I supposed to go? So by the time this conversation's over, I'm fucking 15 minutes late.
Right.
So then we get back in the car, and I'm freaking the fuck out because I'm not entirely sure where I'm supposed to go. So I get in the car, and I start heading south on Coon Rapids Boulevard.
Oh, no.
To which there's another building that I see, and I'm like, I wonder. But I have to make a U-turn, so I have to wait 2 minutes for the light cycle.
Okay.
So because we are walking to the car, and the 2 minutes, and the wondering, now we're 20 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm shitting my pants. Not literally, but figuratively speaking.
Right.
I whip a Yui, we get in the parking lot, we go inside, I start looking around at the different places on there, and I'm like, it has to be this, right? We go up to the top fucking floor, It took me 2 more minutes to figure out which door was the right place. And we walk in and there's a lady. And I'm like, hi, we're here for this appointment. I know we're a little late. She's like, yes, you're almost a half an hour late. I'm like, okay, well, here's the deal. I was told that this place was across the street from Mercy Hospital. She's like, we are. I'm like, no, you're not. We're across the street and a block and a half south. So I went to 2 wrong buildings because of whoever told me that you're right across the street on the phone when we had the conversation when I scheduled the appointment, and it's not my fault that I was given bad directions. So who else answers the phone besides you here? She's like, well, it's just me. I'm like, gotcha, bitch. Okay, so sorry, but you gave me the wrong directions. You are, in fact, not across the street from Mercy Hospital. We're a block and a half south and then across the street. You should probably update that for future reference. But just so you know, I took a half day from work. I pulled her from school. I can't reschedule this shit.
Yeah.
So, pardon my French, but this needs to fucking happen.
And
she's like, I will go see what I can do. Because I had her pinned dead to rights when she fucking admitted she's the only one that answers the phone and does the scheduling.
Sure. Everything goes through her.
Yeah.
Those are her directions.
So we wait a minute. She goes back. Somebody says something. She's like, they'll see you. And I was like, good. I wasn't going to be like, thank you. Yeah. I was like, good. Because I was a little pissed that she gave me the attitude like, you're almost a half an hour late. And I was like, not so fast, bitch.
Right. I got a card. I got to get an old jail-free card here.
Fuck that. So we go into the room. The exam takes literally 5 fucking minutes. And they're like, she is going to need a root canal. Fuck! So schedule the appointment as soon as you can after this.
Sure.
Which, as soon as we're done, I did. Fast forward to like 2-3 weeks later. I am thinking, I'm good to go. I'll pick her up from school. So I took a half day for the appointment. I know where it's at. We'll have no issues. I go out when I get done, which is normally my lunch break time.
Yeah.
And I have a voicemail from that place, and I'm like, God damn it. Maybe they're just calling to confirm. I'll err on the side of caution. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
All right.
And I listen to it, and it's the same lady calling to confirm my daughter's appointment for tomorrow. Fuck. And I went, there's no way I fucked that up. Right. I took the day off the day I made the appointment. I fucking let my boss know. And then I went online from home to log in to put in the request for the half day.
Sure.
And I'm like, there's no way that this idiot is fucking me over again. So what I did is I went there.
The day of
the day that I expected to have the appointment.
Yeah.
And I walked in, I'm like, I leaned on the counter, and this is my face. We have a problem. And I just stared daggers into her eyes. And she's like, okay. And she kind of sat back because she was nervous. I'm like, I got a voicemail from you stating that my daughter's appointment was being confirmed for tomorrow. But here's the deal. I made the appointment for today. She's like, well, no, it's in there. I'm like, hang on. I made the appointment for today. And again, you're the only one that schedules, right? Yes. So if you would like me to go over with you, I could tell you verbatim, with quotes, how our conversation went. She's like, that won't be necessary. I'm like, so I took another half day, and this is needing to happen. I can't force you to do anything, but I'm not the one that made the mistake here. You are. So now I'm going to leave. I'm going to go pick my daughter up from school, and I'm going to be back in half an hour, just as I'm supposed to be. She's like, okay, that's fair.
So you got some doctor, double booked now? How did that work?
I don't fucking know, and I don't fucking care because it's not my mistake. It's hers that she needs to rectify. And if her bosses have to say, hey, same guy, same client, problem each time, he says it's you. You're both the common denominator. But the fact that he knew enough that it was today at that time, not tomorrow at that time, maybe you fat-fingered something when you're making keystrokes. I don't fucking know, and I'm not interested in what little Monday morning details she flubbed.
Or
I just know
scheduling system, right, and how it
that
works. Yeah.
Already being nervous about how she's going to handle the root canal and the temporary crown and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker. So I went and picked her up from school. We came back. They did the root canal. They gave her the temporary crown.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like,
later.
you have 2 weeks to get the other one. So I scheduled with her regular dentist, which is far away, like 25 minutes from home.
Okay.
And then we show up for the crown. And as this has been going, there's been nothing but clusterfuckery afoot as I'm telling you this story. This is October. So now we're November 9th, I believe, was the date that she got the crown, the permanent crown.
Oh, sure.
And we get there, and former Blumpkin and Friends guest, Daddy Ivy, has a sister who works at the dentist's office now.
Okay.
So we get there, and she goes back. Everything went off without a hitch, and she gets the crown. And then we're leaving, and she's like, well, do you want to take care of this now? Do you want to just pay the balance now? I'm like, sure, what is it? She's like, $10.59. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. $10.59. She's like, no, $10.59, like $1,059. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Yep.
And she goes, is that a problem? I'm like, I guess not. Here's my card. I'll get bonus points or whatever the fuck.
Miles.
And then I get out in the car and I call
the beast.
And holy fuck. I tell her I paid the tab, of which per our agreement, she's on the hook for 30%. She's like, typical beast fashion.
Yep.
She calls me every name in the book, tells me how fucking stupid I am, that they just write that shit off for taxes all the time for other work they've had done there because they're on MA and she knows the people. And I'm like, no, dum-dum. That's not how this works.
Right. You don't know anything.
She's like, well, I'm not paying you because you're the fucking idiot that paid a bill they were going to write off.
Excuse me? That's not how the agreement works.
And it's funny because she thinks that she can get off scot-free by just claiming that, oh, well, he paid it and he didn't have to. And here's what I've come to find out. MA doesn't pay for crowns.
No.
So they weren't going to write this shit off. We were going to have to foot the bill.
Yep.
And it sucks that it's $1,059 and change, but where's my fucking 30%? Because we are still, this many months later, she still refers to me as a total fucking dumbass for paying a bill they were going to write off. I've told her they can't write it off. We're getting to where she owes me for the endodontics. And she's like, well, that's your fault. You should have to pay it because you didn't take care of the tooth like you were supposed to. So that's not my fault.
You can't assume that it was based off of what you did. The tooth could have been about to fail anyway, no matter what.
Well, in all openness here, transparency, I kicked the can down the road for too long on getting the cavity filled, and then it became too bad, and then they couldn't just fill it.
Yeah.
So that is, in part, my fault.
Okay.
However, like the tooth that got pulled,
the beast
is like, you said you could handle all this, and you didn't. You didn't take care of it. That's not on me. So her tooth getting pulled is just, that's your fault. And this crown is your fault. They should have just pulled that tooth. I'm like, no. Don't you remember? They said if we pull that tooth, because it's a 10-year molar, it's the second tooth from the back, like that could fuck up the alignment of all the rest of her teeth.
Sure.
And I'm not going to risk that. So I went with the crown. She's like, well, you're the idiot that wouldn't just do it. I don't know how many times we've discussed again and again and again that she should have just pulled the tooth. And I'm like, why is none of this sinking in?
Right.
We fucking talked about this, dude.
I have the same thing with my son's mom.
My son.
Like her, so now she's on the hook for the crown, the endodontics, which it's 2 appointments, the glasses that I paid for.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
all
that.
me out of pocket when she got the fucking spectacles, the new ones. And she's just like, well, I was only supposed to pay 30% of her orthodontics years ago, and I paid 50%. So you just take that 20% and apply it towards the 30% I owe you. She's like doing fucking Steiner math for people that know that famous fucking Scott Steiner promo about having 141% or 141 and 2/3% chance of winning a match from 2008 when he was in TNA going up against Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. And it's just like, dude, no. I mean, first off, find out for me how much we paid total in the orthodontics. I'll do that. I'll fucking apply it properly. I'll knock the 20% of that, but you're still on the hook. And she still owes me the $1,800 repayment for the goddamn child support that I gave her while I had the kids and CPS had taken them. And her new angle is, I was in treatment, so I was a vulnerable adult, so I can't legally be held liable for that because I wasn't able to sign contracts, and my lawyer coerced me into signing it just to get it done, and I didn't want to, but she basically made me. And I'm like, you reneged on the deal twice in the 11th hour when we were ready to put it right before a judge, and you fucking pulled back on it, and you burnt money. You basically burnt my money, you cunt.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many times can you think you could just get away with these fucking mental gymnastics to alleviate yourself of any responsibility that you are legally liable for fucking paying. And at this point, I'm almost going to have to just like eat shit and get my old attorney to fucking file something.
You're going to have to file a contempt of court motion because she's not upholding her end of the
order.
Medical agreement. Yeah.
And it's like, dude, so that costs me money. So then that's like, I want to roll the cost of doing that into what she owes me and then grand total it and put a fucking lien on her house.
Oh, jeez.
Because then I will get paid.
Right.
Because
that's about the only way, yeah.
That $1,800 was due April 1st, 2022. And every day after that has been, air quotes, accruing interest at a rate that I don't fucking know what it is.
Really?
I tried to look it up, but I can't make hide or hair of it. But okay. I'm going to have to basically ask the attorney, can we force her to pay the court costs for me to file this because she's being negligent?
Well, so here was the deal here's a situation I had. So when my company was acquired by Optum, we were Change Healthcare, we got acquired by Optum. Somebody in HR fucked up some paperwork, right? They screwed up. They weren't making payments for a while. I got into arrears, basically. I got behind on payments through no fault of my own. So they were able to go and start charging me extra. You know what I mean? Like to make up for that money that was owed. So it seems like they should be able to do that from her paycheck, right? Or is there nothing ever been automatically deducted from her paycheck?
The medical costs would have to be, I think, paid direct to me because I'm not going to let child support handle that. And you just helped me volley into the next episode.
Awesome.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It. That is at What Do We Call It. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
This is Steiny.
And that's the end.
Fuck, fuck, fuck. Fuck, fuck. Fuck, fuck.